Python interview questions and answers to test your Python knowledge, sorted from easiest to most difficult. Explain the term interpreter in Python. Answer: an interpreter is a program that executes Python code line by line. Python uses an interpreter like CPython to execute scripts directly without needing compilation to machine code. 2. What is a virtual environment and why do we use it? Answer: a virtual environment is an isolated environment for Python projects that allows specific dependencies to be maintained per project, avoiding conflicts between different projects' dependencies. 3. What are modules and packages in Python? Answer: a module is a single Python file that can include functions, classes, and variables. A package is a directory containing multiple modules, along with a special init file to distinguish it as a package. 4. What are Python decorators? Answer: decorators are a way to modify or enhance functions or methods without changing their actual code. They are applied using the syntax before function definitions. 5. What is the difference between deep copy and shallow copy? Answer: a shallow copy creates a new object but inserts references into the original objects. A deep copy creates a new object and recursively copies all objects found. 6. Explain the concept of duck typing in Python. Answer: duck typing in Python means that the suitability of an object is determined by its behavior, like methods and properties rather than its class. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. 7. What is GIL, Global Interpreter Lock, in Python? Answer: GIL is a mutex that protects access to Python objects, preventing multiple threads from executing Python bytecode simultaneously in CPython. It simplifies memory management, but limits multi-threading in Python. 8. What is the difference between a list and a tuple in Python? Answer: lists are mutable, allowing modification of elements, while tuples are immutable. Lists consume more memory and have slightly slower access than tuples. 9. What is the use of the init method in Python? Answer: the init method is a constructor used in classes to initialize objects when they are created. It sets initial values for object attributes. 10. What are args and quags in Python functions? Answer: args is used to pass a variable number of non-keyword arguments, and quags is used to pass a variable number of keyword arguments to a function. 11. What are Python's built-in data structures? Answer: Python's built-in data structures include list, tuple, set, dict, and frozen set. 12. What is the difference between local, global, and non-local variables? Answer: local variables are declared inside a function, global variables are declared outside all functions and accessible everywhere, and non-local variables are used in nested functions, referring to a variable defined in the nearest enclosing scope. 13. Explain what a lambda function is in Python. Answer: a lambda function is a small anonymous function defined with the lambda keyword. It can have any number of arguments but only one expression. 14. What are list comprehensions in Python? Answer: list comprehensions provide a concise way to create lists using a single line of code, often combining a for loop and an optional if statement. 15. What is the purpose of the pass statement in Python? Answer: the pass statement is a null operation used as a placeholder for code that will be written later, or when a statement is syntactically required but no action is needed. 16. What is the use of the yield keyword in Python? Answer: the yield keyword is used in functions to return an iterable generator object. It allows the function to yield a value and pause its execution, resuming from where it left off when called again. Intermediate questions requires simple code or explanation. 17. How do you handle exceptions in Python? Answer: exceptions are handled using try, except, else, and finally blocks code that may raise an exception is placed in the try block, and the except block handles the exception. 18. What is a Python iterator, and how does it differ from an iterable? Answer: an iterable is an object that can return an iterator, while an iterator is an object that represents a stream of data, providing a next method to traverse through the data. 19. How do you create a custom exception in Python? Answer: a custom exception is created by defining a new class that inherits from the built-in exception class. 20. Explain the use of Python's with statement. Answer: the with statement simplifies exception handling by wrapping the execution of a block of code and ensuring the cleanup code runs, like closing a file, regardless of whether an exception is raised. 21. How do you use regular expressions in Python? Answer: Python provides the re-module to work with regular expressions. You can use functions like match, search, and find all to perform pattern matching. 22. How to remove duplicates from a list in Python? Answer: You can remove duplicates by converting the list to a set and back to a list. 23. Explain the difference between double equal sign and is in Python. Answer: Double equal sign checks for equality of values, while is checks for object identity, meaning whether two references point to the same object. 24. How can you convert a list of strings to a single string in Python? Answer: Use the join method. 25. What is a generator and how is it different from a list comprehension? Answer: A generator is an iterable that yields items one by one using the yield keyword, making it more memory efficient than list comprehensions, which create the entire list in memory. 26. How do you check if a key exists in a dictionary? Answer: You can check if a key exists using the in keyword, if key in my dictionary. 27. How to reverse a string in Python? Answer: Use slicing. 28. What is monkey patching in Python? Answer: Monkey patching is the dynamic modification of a class or module at runtime. 29. Explain how to merge two dictionaries in Python. Answer: Use the update method or use this syntax. 30. How do you read and write files in Python? Answer: Use the open function with modes like R for reading and W for writing. 31. How do you implement a stack or a queue in Python? Answer: Use a list and spend or pop for a stack, or collections deck for an efficient queue. 36. How do you implement a linked list in Python? Answer: "37. 38. Explain the difference between static method and class method. Answer: Static method defines a method that does not modify class or instance state, while class method 40. How to flatten a nested list in Python? Answer: "41. Write a 'items'. Needs functools module. 44. Write a Python function to perform quicksort on a list. Answer. 45. Variety of interview.